everybody's getting set, if you would raise your hand, please wait for Mike to get to you. Start with Rob, Grant, then Mike.
Coach, just overall impression, and what were you looking for today? Effort, intensity, execution.
Rob, I like the fact that I do think our older guys did a nice job with the younger guys, trying to get them to understand our preparation a couple days out. And game day, is the first time that we really got to do what would be a normal game day, even though a week ago we went against Davison. It's not quite the same. Plus, the first time they had a chance to play in front of people, which was a great feeling to be back in Thompson Bowling. And that was a neat part for them. Going in, not sure how they would respond to that, but the fact is, I thought, overall there's some good things. Obviously people want to talk about us shooting a lot of threes, and we worked all year on taking open shots. And today, with the exception of probably maybe 3 of them, that I think I looked at the coaches and said that's not a good one. There were some good things. Defensively, we got to be more active. We've got to come with more deflections. We have to. We've got to do a better job of guarding the ball one-on-one. But give Lenoir-Rhyne credit. They spread you out. At times, they had 4 or 5 guards out there. It seemed like where they were really open the court up, and they moved, they cut, and rebounding was a big thing that we've talked about to keep. And I think they had 7 offensive rebounds, and I would be surprised if the majority of those didn't come from our guards not blocking out. I know right off the top of my head here, 3 or 4 of them did, because we were running the other way without securing the ball. But overall, I think everybody had good moments. A couple guys we expect a little bit more from, but overall, it was good for us.
Rick, at what point since March to now did y'all decide to play a different kind of offensive style where you're shooting so many threes, and what's the number that you have in mind every night?
You know what I told him at the beginning of the year, because I have felt in the past that we had guys that refuse to shoot it, when they're open, and the fact is, when you refuse to take open good shots, normally that possession ends up getting you back against the clock, and normally good things don't happen. And if we can get a good look with the right guy, and most of our guys, we have spent so much time, always really, but a lot of time with shooting, and we stat it every day, and our players, they understand where their shots coming from. We want them to take open shots. We want them to, and but we also feel that by doing that, it's going to give us a chance to we've got some guys that we think that have the speed to drive the ball to get into those cracks. We think that we're going to continue to get better with our inside presence. We played today without Folke, who with him we do some things differently, some but not a lot. I think he'll benefit from this. We missed Eve Pons today. We missed his defensive fix-it plays. We did miss that. We need to keep working on it, but we have working on it, but we got to get better. But we've played ourselves twice in a 40-minute game, and we played Davison. We played ourselves in all 4 of those games. We shot over 43s, and we shot it at a clip pretty much. What did we end up shooting today? What was the percentage? 40. That's where we've been. We haven't been under 40.
Yeah, Dr. Barnes, Brandon Homey Hatfield, is he a guy that you expected to play like this in a game, and just is a guy who, when the lights are on, he looks a little bit different than he does in practice?
Mike, I tell you, he surprised me today a little bit. I wasn't sure what to expect. There's no doubt that Brandon's really, in the last 2 weeks, he's taken a giant step. He really has. He's taken a giant step in terms of understanding more. He's a guy that I'll be disappointed, will be disappointed if he doesn't get better and better each day. But the fact that he's a terrific passer. He's got great feet, really sees the court, really wants to pass the ball, maybe to a fault, where we've got to get him. He made a couple really nice moves. He's so big and strong that when he gets it going towards the basket, he's a hard guy to defend because of he's got just soft hands. But for him, getting his hands on a lot of balls was great today, and you know what? He was locked in more defensively, than I kind of thought he would be, just being the first time out playing. But both he and Kennedy, they're going to have to continue to really get themselves in elite shape to be the kind of players they want to be. And what that means is, can he work harder? I'm not sure they can work any harder with that. They got to get there mentally, where they understand they can fight through it more so than and that's going to be the next step. When they think they're tired, when I know that they've conditioned well enough not to be as tired mentally as they think they are, that'll be the next step for both of those guys.
Rick, I know that things will get a lot tougher than they were today, but the way Kennedy plays the game, that sort of calm demeanor that he has, seems like the game sort of moves slowly for him in a good way. How rare is that for a point guard his age to have that sort of mental strength?
Well, he sees it, and he does have that burst. He has a burst, and I would tell you, like I was on him today about more defensively. I think he could be just a great on-ball defender. He certainly, like most young guys, have to continue to learn to get better away from the ball. And like today, we had him in a situation in the half court in the first half. He let his guy, where he was way overzealous and let a guy back cut him from 40 feet, 45 feet. But he wants to learn. I mean, he's constantly asking me questions about, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? But you're right about he's got a feel. He's got a great burst of energy, and as he learns to control his speed and his pace, we often talk to him about the difference in driving on the freeway and driving in New York City. He's going to have to figure out the two of them at times, and he'll get that. He'll get it, but right now he's somewhere in between.
You mentioned charting, y'all shooting in practice. Just who have been your best three-point shooters so far in preseason?
It would be, well, think about it. One of them, Santiago, didn't shoot it well today, but overall, from the beginning up the shots charts, Zakai's one of them. Zakai was a little anxious today, we should expect, but he can shoot it. It's to be honest with you, they all put big numbers up. The one that's been under it, what we expected was Shaq, and he raised up and hit one today. He's improved his shot a lot, but they're very consistent from VJ. I don't know, did VJ make one today? But VJ's had, we got a couple different drills we do. He's had somewhere, he's made 87 out of 100 in our one ball 100 shooting. But consistently guys are in 75, 80s, and like we tell them, they have their feet set. Like Josiah dropped the ball one time today, shouldn't have shot that one. Even though we think that every time it leaves his hands is going to go in, but if you look at the chart, they're all bunched right up there together.
Rick, with Brandon today, the way his hands performed, I mean, it seems like with big guys, especially young big guys, you don't always see great hands, but how much of a benefit does that give a young big guy to have sort of hands like that that are soft and can make the right passes and get loose balls?
Well, it's a great advantage when you got big guys that can pass the ball. Urosh does a good job as well, getting out there when he slows down and sees it, but Brandon loves passing it. And Urosh, those two guys really do love passing the basketball. Brandon, I actually heard him tell the guys, if they want to double team me, I'll find you. And the fact that he really, and you said it, he's got soft hands. I just think he's got to continue to build his game with the ball if they don't come double team. But otherwise, he really sees the court. And if you ask, is it an advantage? Anytime you have post guys that can pass the ball, it's a huge advantage. And guys that can move and get their hands on it.
Take two more if we got them. Right to the back.
You were rotating guys a lot, obviously, with the exhibition. What did you find out about your rotation today that you possibly didn't know before?
Well, we kind of went in somewhat with a set pattern that we thought we'd try to move some guys around, and I don't know if I could tell you what we found out about a rotation yet. It'll get back to consistency and guys doing the detail things. Like I held back today. I normally would pull guys real quick for like rebound. We've talked about it so much. Quentin went in the game and right off the bat, long rebound, he has already had the other way, and it should have been his rebound. Those are the plays that will determine guys playing, because we talk about every possession matters, every possession. And but we're not afraid to put guys out there, because one, we've got a group of guys that do their work daily. There's not one guy in our program that doesn't work. And are there guys that work harder than others? Absolutely. But are there guys we're trying to get up to that? We are. And how deep we go and whatever rotation we fall into, our players will determine that. They will determine that based on consistency, what we know we're going to get when you go out on the court, and but there's a role that each one of them can certainly play to get minutes.
Rick, the way that y'all are shooting that many threes pretty consistently now, it is just a much different way to play the game. Is that a reflection of the players you have, or maybe the way the game's going?
The players. But again, Lenoir-Rhyne, I mean, in the past, you think about it, we've always been really, and there's no doubt it would have been a little bit different with John Fulkerson in terms of playing through there a little bit. But if we've always tried to score in transition. We really have. But to answer your question, when it gets going and people know that we want to shoot, they're not going. We have some great looks today. I think Lenoir-Rhyne's whole game plan was to force us into that. And I told the coaches that as the game was going on in the past, we would have been trying to be stubborn and say pound it in there, it would have gotten ugly, because there wasn't a lot of space inside the way we like to pass and get in there with it. But by shooting the ball, I think our offensive pace can wear on people now, even more so. But is it a combination of the fact that I think we got guys that can shoot the ball? Yes, but I'm also aware that when people find out what we know, how well we shoot it, they're going to extend out there, so we're going to have to work harder and drive the ball a little bit more, which I think we've got guys that are willing to do that too. We just want the simple A to B passes, nothing complicated. Let's get the best look we can get, and if it comes early in the clock, we're going to take it.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.